still love it. Hey, did you see that interview on the 7:30 report the other night with Atlassian founder Scott Farquhar? Well, he tried to make the case for allowing AI companies to mine copyrighted material, and it just showed what a self-entitled git he is. Let's go through the key points during his 20-minute discussion. I'm not going to play all 20 minutes, but he had a 20-minute discussion with Sarah Ferguson. And I'll start with why Farquhar wants to change our copyright legislation.
You want changes to Australia's copyright law to allow exemptions for AI companies to mine Australian content for text and data for free. Why do you want that?
So copyright's an interesting one. If I go back a little, copyright exists to basically give artists who create something a right to almost all the uses of it. And we have a thing called fair use, which says actually society really needs to use it for certain cases. For example, in a legal case, it can be used. In a news article, it can be used. It can be used for parody and satire, which we think of like, of course you can use that, but that was only a recent addition to the Copyright Act.
Oh, was it? A recent change to the Copyright Act. That amendment was made in 2006. That's almost 20 years ago. I'm beginning to think this guy isn't trustworthy. And then there's a reason why news, legal and satire are exempted. News, of course, provides information and details about the story being reported. They could be kept from the public if the owner was able to use copyright protection as a way of keeping a negative story out of the public domain. Imagine if 7, 9, 10, ABC, whoever, News Corp, had to go to the owner of someone who owned footage, like footage that exposed their bad behaviour or even showing their building, and tried to get a clearance for copyright. The person wouldn't give it. And of course, legal use in our judicial system, well, that makes perfect sense. And the inclusion of satire was added to protect freedom of expression. AI companies simply want access to this material to build new systems and make those companies millions, if not billions of dollars. Yes, comedians, lawyers and news companies make money, but their profits aren't just predicated on stealing material like AI companies do. Their use of fair dealing is part of a broader strategy. They deliver news, they deliver satire, they do legal cases. But AI just wants full access to copyrighted material to build their own companies and make money. This is the key difference. Their whole business is based on scraping everything that's ever been made and giving it to a computer so that it can replicate or build on it. But let's pick up as Farquhar explains the implications of not changing our copyright laws.
AI is a broad and transformative technology. At the moment, there is no fair use exemption. We don't say what is fair use, and we don't say what is not fair use. So at the moment, all AI usage of mining or searching or going across data is probably illegal under Australian law, and I think that hurts a lot of investment of these companies in Australia.
So, if these companies can't pay for the rights to use this material, then they don't build a company. It's like saying, I can't afford to pay workers, I should get free labour. No, if you want to build a company, you have to make a case for profit building, and you have to be able to cover your costs. Oh no, AI is not going to invest in this country because we're not allowing you to steal work. How bloody entitled is that? This guy thinks that it should all be handed to him on a plate. He probably thinks the people that work for him get paid too much. Minimum wage, too much. They should feel privileged to serve me my sandwiches and put my slippers on. So I want to get this clear. Companies should get copyrighted material for free because other countries are doing it, which isn't even true. During that interview, he cited the US, but even the US hasn't come to final conclusions, and there are plenty of court cases happening there. So why can't these AI companies pay for the access? Why should you make money off my work? And now we really get to the moment where you see the sense of entitlement from this guy. Apparently, his objective is much more important than the rights of content creators.
How do you explain to Australian artists that an AI company using their material without recompense is not theft?
So I think everyone would agree if you use AI to copy an artist directly and create a song in their style, that's probably not fair use. I do think people would say that, hey, if people are going to sit down with a digital companion, an AI song creator, and they collaboratively work with an AI to create something new to the world, that's probably fair use.
No, it's not. Even if you're creating something new, you're still basing that off something created by someone else. You're using the artistry that brought that original piece to life in the first place. It's the same reason songs have to credit the writers of the original songs they've sampled in their new song. People joke about the fact Beyonce songs have 23 writers. That's because she sampled music and has to credit the writers of those original songs. She and other singers literally pay for the right to use that music. So how is this any different? When you create something new, you're still basing it off the work of other people. If you're a derivative of Taylor Swift, you've copied Taylor Swift. You've used her artistry to create whatever AI comes up with. And in the final part of this is the final part, the ultimate nail in his coffin for his argument. During this interview, Sarah Ferguson asked him a number of times whether Midnight Oil deserved compensation if their music was used to train AI, something Midnight Oil is dead set against. While he tried to avoid answering the question, she finally got this out of him.
But to say, there's a fair dealing aspect for all of these use cases.
So Midnight Oil, in my example, can't say no. You don't think they should have the right to say no to their catalogue of work being exploited by a tech company to create another form of chat GPT or whatever it is?
So as a society, I think we should look at what is fair use. I think it's if they're creating something transformative, then I don't think you say no, in the same way they can't say no to a news site saying that. The same way they can't say no to loading that onto your iPod. We as a society say, what is fair use? And again, I don't think, if you want to copy Midnight Oil and create the next version of their songs, I don't think that is a fair use. If you want to say, hey, I'm going to create a AI that helps you create all sorts of music, in the same way today, if someone created a Taylor Swift song and inspired by them and created one exactly the same, that wouldn't be fair use. But there are plenty of artists that feel inspired by people that have come before them. I think every artist would say they've been inspired by the artists that came before them.
Yeah, but most of them have bought that Bob Dylan album that they're using to inspire them now. They're not expecting to have had all of that material for free along the way. At some point, Bob Dylan got paid to write his album.
You have to look at that these days in terms of how that all works.
She got him. She got him. He didn't have an answer for that. And can you believe that this guy actually thinks that Midnight Oil shouldn't have the right to say they don't want their music used by AI? He literally says they don't get a say. The difference here is that news does reporting, comedy shines a mirror to ourselves. Legal people are using material for defense. They're not using it to create an alternative. Basically, he's saying, we want all your music, all your scripts, everything you've ever created, so that we can do what you do with AI. Yeah, it's going to sound different to Taylor Swift writing a song, but it's still got elements of Taylor Swift in there. And how can this idiot, this self-entitled git, not see that that's wrong? If you want it, pay for it. Do deals for it. Don't be a leech on society and just scrape what you want and then make billions. You'll sell this technology. I'll end up having to subscribe to it while you're lining your own coffers off the work of other people. You piece of poo. That's Rob's rant.
Fun, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose.